What's up, guys? Sanjay Shenoy here from Team Pixel Track, and welcome to this brand new video in the Content Marketing Mastery. So we are going ahead with the content marketing mastery. In the previous video, we spoke about understanding your objectives, the big why behind why you're going to create your content asset, what kind of content assets you can go ahead and create, and what kind of goals that you need to set yourself in order to achieve greater heights with content marketing. So what I was thinking was I'll quickly do a recap of the previous video, and also what I've decided is parallelly I'll also be working on my own blog and working on my content strategy for my own blog. And while I'm teaching all of these things to you, I'm going to be documenting everything that I'll be doing with, so that it will give you a very hands-on or behind the scenes effects in terms of what I am doing for my own content marketing strategy. And you can do the same thing for your own blog or any kind of content asset that you're willing to create. So let's do a quick recap. We spoke about what kind of content asset you'll be creating and what are the different benefits of each of these assets, the why behind your content asset, the whole reason, the intention behind why you're creating this content asset. We spoke about the traits of effective goals and how you can create these effective goals for your content marketing strategy. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and created all of these things for my own blog, so that I can share it with you, so that it'll get the ball rolling for you also if you feel very stuck in terms of writing down your own objectives and goals. Probably this might help a little bit. So let's go ahead and create. So the content asset that I have chosen is a blog. So I'll be creating a lot of textual content. Not to say that I will not be creating any other type of content, but I'll be focusing majorly right now on the textual content on the blog rather. And why am I creating this blog? The number one reason that I'm creating this blog is because I want to create a personal brand for myself. I want to position myself in the whole industry, and I want to build credibility and thought leadership. So this is very important. These are the main two things that I'm doing. I have been in the whole industry for about 10 years, but I've not focused on my personal brand. I've not focused on building credibility or thought leadership, although I've done it at very small extents, speaking at a few events, consulting a few people, helping out certain people in whatever capacity that I can. But I haven't done it in such a way that my whole personal brand, my credibility, my trustworthiness, my thought leadership is out there for the world to see. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. And also I want to connect with my audience, because like we said, and this is what the this particular video is about. I When you feel connected with your audience, you understand your audience very well. And once you understand your audience very well, you understand their problems, and you can provide appropriate solutions for all of these guys. So I want to stay connected with my audience. I want to know who's reading my blog and who's consuming my content, and how I can make their lives better by adding that much more value in their lives. Also, I want to build an email list for various reasons. One of the most important reasons is email list is probably one of the best ways for you to like own your audience, right? So that you are not at the mercy of the giants like Google, Facebook, Instagram, or whatever it is. So these are the main reasons why I am creating my content asset, why I'm creating content in itself in the first place. So let's move on to the goals part. So I have created, like we have done it in the past, creation goals, performance goals, and optimization goals. So for creation goals, one of the things that I want to do is I'm going to write one blog by Friday with at least 2,000 words. And I'm almost through, and I will be publishing it. Tomorrow is Friday. So I'll be publishing it tomorrow. And also I'm going to record 5 videos for content marketing free series by the end of this month. I also want to like set up a funnel wherein I can attract people and getting them to buy this course eventually, probably. So which is why I want to create or record 5 videos for this particular content marketing free series. And I'm going to do that by the end of this month. And I'm going to interview 3 content marketing experts by February. That is about 2-3 months from now. And so as you can see, I have like segregated my goals by day, then by sorry, by week, by month, and by quarter. You can like go more granular also, saying that I'm gonna do this by in a day, or you can go even much more zoomed out. You can say this is what I'm going to achieve in 1 year. So, and you can add multiple of these goals for your day, for your week, for your month, for your quarter, and as much as you want. As long as you segregate it, you create these goals, you'll be very happy to know that you'll get the sense of accountability from people, and that's what sense of accountability for yourself and sense of responsibility, because you have jotted down these goals yourself, and you can evaluate how well you're achieving these goals in the first place. Next one is performance goals. I want to hit 4,000 sessions by the end of this month. So last month I had about 3,000 sessions. That translates roughly to about 100 sessions a day on an average. But this month I want to hit about 4,000 sessions. So that is roughly about 30% more, slightly about 30% more than last month. And the way I'm doing this is by creating the new blog post that I just did. And I also want to add one lead magnet by the end of this month. So the lead magnet will be the content free series, and I want to set up everything for that particular lead magnet. I also want to build a list of 1,000 subscribers for by February. So honestly speaking, this shouldn't be much of a task, especially if I'm planning to hit about 4,000, 5,000 sessions a month and creating a lead magnet with the content free content marketing series. So but still, like I said, I want to keep it achievable. I don't want to like be an overkill in terms of goals. So this is extremely achievable. This is extremely doable. Not much to do here. This can all be done easily within the set time frame. So next is optimization goals. I want to reduce the page load time speed by about a second by end of this week. So I feel that the website or the blog that I have right now is not loading as fast. I would love it to load. So I am doing a few changes for it. I'm changing the theme for it. I'm probably putting it on a professional CDN. And all of these things, and a lot of other changes in the code as well, to just make it load faster. So why is it important? It's super important because people are very impatient, and your load speed directly relates with how many people come and stay on your blog. Also, like I said, I'm going to set up a new theme by the end of this month. I'm just figuring out which one is the best, both in terms of design, functionality, and speed. I have a few themes in mind, but I think I will go with one of the few that I've already shortlisted. Uh, I'm going to set up 10 goals and metrics on Google Analytics. This is what I meant to say. By the end of February, uh, I haven't set up most of these goals and metrics that I would like to track on analytics yet. So that's what I'm going to be doing also. So these are some of the goals that I have. These are not all the goals that I have. My list of goals is rather quite extensive, and so should yours be. So you can try out with these few goals. Like I said, you don't have to like take a lot of goals to start off with. Start with like very small goals, very achievable goals. Keep doing it, keep achieving it. Put your head down and do all the work, and stack up your goals. And so when you stack up your goals, when you say that, okay, once I do achieve this, I'm going to go ahead and try and achieving this. So your previous achievement of your goal kind of acts like a trigger for you to go ahead and achieve your next goal. And all you need to be doing is put your head down and work towards it. Like obviously I'll be showing you how to do this in the most effective manner, but you can only control the input, you can't control the output. So focus on the input, try to create as much content as possible, and yeah, that's about it. So these are some of the examples of the goals that we have. So let's get started with the today's video, and let's find out what we are going to be talking about. So what are we going to be talking about in this particular video? It's all about understanding your audience. And why is it so important to understand your audience? Because if you understand your audience really well, your biggest problem in terms of content marketing gets solved, which is the creation of the content itself. Because all you're doing with content marketing, rather, is you're trying to solve problems by giving the right amount of information, which might be a good solution for them, which is articulated in a proper manner. Now, for you to know what kind of solutions to give your audience, you need to know, first of all, who your audience is, and then what kind of problems they are facing. I think nobody has described this better, or the importance of understanding your audience better than the management guru, Mr. Peter Drucker. I'm just going to quote him by saying that he said that the whole point of marketing is to understand your customers so well that you create a product or an offering which fits their needs and sells automatically. I think it's very beautifully said, and the same thing applies with content or pretty much any aspect of marketing. So once you know your audience really well, that's all it takes. And this is a very, very important step in any marketing activity that you might partake in. Now, you have to do this so much that it becomes like second nature to you. The moment you start creating content, the moment you start creating communication to your audience, you should know how to profile your audience. And after like years in marketing, I have reached that point right now, because you need to develop that sense of empathy. You need to develop that sense wherein you start thinking from the point of your customers and not yourself. And that gives you great insights into what people are trying to face and what people are trying to do. So let's find out what you're going to be learning in this video. One thing you'll be learning is user personas, and you'll be learning what user personas are and why you should be creating these user personas. The one of the easiest ways to understand the audience is user personas, and we'll be knowing more about this and what are the key elements of a user persona and the downloadable template to create user personas. So I'll go ahead and create user personas for myself so that you can take a look at it, and I'll also attach a template so that you can just fill in all of this information and quickly create content for your user personas. So, what are user personas? So, let's get with the textbook definition first. So, user personas are fictional or real generalized representations of your ideal customers or your target audience. So, a few key things that you need to know. So, either it can be fictional or real. So, you need not have to have customers, you just need some assumptions for you to create about these user personas or your potential users, and they're very generalized representations. There might not be an actual person out there who is actually like that, but you're generalizing, you're stereotyping this particular group of audiences, and you're putting a face to it, you're personifying that particular customer or your target audience. And so, to give you a very non-textbooky answer, basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to profile the user. You're trying to make sense of what kind of a user he is. And imagine you're trying to create a Facebook profile for your ideal customer. And what are the things that you're going to fill in terms of information: the name, phone number, uh, the location that they are, their gender, what kind of job they have, what kind of school that they go to, everything, all of this information. Think about it like a Facebook profile. You're filling in all of their information right there. Now, why is this important? Because uh, we'll be talking more about this in the later part of this particular video, but I'll just give you a quick gist of it. Super important because it helps you understand who you're talking to and who are the kind of people you should be addressing. And you might have heard different variations of this particular word. It is also called as customer avatars and buyer personas. It doesn't matter if you call it user personas, if you call it customer avatars and or buyer personas. It's all the same. So basically, as long as it does the job for you, you should be totally fine with it. So I hope you understood what user personas are. Let's find out why do you need to create these user personas. The most important thing that user personas helps you do is it helps you understand both your existing and your prospective customers. This is super important, right? So when you create this user persona, you are actually finding out who are the kind of people you're dealing with, what are their interests, what is their income level, what is their disposable income level, what motivates them, what concerns them, what stage of life event they are in, all of these things. It helps you understand your customers really, really well, and accordingly take decisions based on these things. And also, what user personas helps you do is it helps you understand what channels you should be focusing on also, right? So you can't focus on a particular channel just because it's going to give you a lot of traffic. You need to focus on channels that will give you, that your audience, your target audience is actually hanging out on. Now, what it actually does is, how does it like help? What I'm trying to tell you is that imagine there is like a spectrum of people, there is a scale of people. So, on the leftmost is the people who is least likely to be your customer, on the rightmost is someone who is most likely to be your customer. So, if you take care of these extremes, if you create these user personas on both these extremes and speak to these guys, everyone falling in between is automatically taken care of. So look at it like that. And so for example, when I'm making videos, when I'm creating videos or tutorials or whatever it is, for me my user persona is my mom on one side, on the left hand side, because she's not as tech savvy as I would like her to be. On the most extreme right is someone who's say 21 years old, who's extremely tech savvy, who's trying to get a job in digital marketing, who has read a lot about digital marketing already, and all of these things. So I am trying to make it simple enough so that even my mom understands it, and make it informative enough that a 21-year-old who's trying to get a job also takes a lot of value out of it. So once you take care of these two people, everyone falling in between is automatically taken care of. So which is why I say that it helps you really understand who your existing and prospective customers are. And once you understand your who your audience is, it helps you create better communication and content. Now, going back to the example of my mom and the guy who just graduated, now I cannot be explaining digital marketing to my mom the same way, or content marketing for that matter, to my mom the same way I would be to the 21-year-old guy, because of the worldviews both of these guys have, because of the background these both guys have. It's completely different. So I need to change the way I communicate to my mom. I need to change the way I communicate to the 21-year-old. I might have to change the way I need to communicate to the 30-year-old. So now do you understand why it is so important to like create user persona? So automatically this might happen in real life, and you do this automatically in real life, right? So if you bump into say your grandmother, and if she asks you what you're doing, and you give a completely different answer, but if you see someone in your own industry bump into you, and if they ask you what are you up to, you give a completely different answer. So why do you do this? You do this because you know that the other person sitting on the other end needs to understand what you're trying to say, and you need to simplify it in such a way that the other person understands it, or add value to the person whoever is asking for it. So this is exactly what you should be doing here also. You need to create buckets of these user personas, and it definitely helps you create better communication and content. And also, you'll understand what are their needs, what are their problems, and what are the concerns that they are facing. And this is basically the most important thing. What user personas help you to do, right? So once you know their needs, once you know their problems, once you know their concerns, all you need to do is create content around this and address all of these needs, problems, and concerns, right? So that's all you need to be doing, and create content around these things. And it also helps in solving the second biggest problem that a lot of people tend to have, even if some people don't know if they have that problem in the first place. That is, it helps you create conversational content. Now, the moment you say content marketing or content writing, for that matter, people automatically assume that they need to be writing essays, and that's not what you should be doing, right? Nobody is on the web trying to read essays. The people, the way they behave online, is completely different from the way they behave offline when they're reading a book versus they're reading a blog. So when they're reading a blog, they have 10,000 distractions that they need to be taking care of, and there's so many things that is happening. They usually scan content, and when you create conversational content, it really helps to get your users to stick around. So once you have created multiple user personas, you just pick one user persona and keep them in your head and write content as if you're talking to them. So once you do this, your content becomes a lot more flowy, it becomes a lot more natural, it becomes a lot more welcoming to your user. So I hope I've made a very good point in helping you understand why it is so important to create user personas. Some people might think this is a bit of an overkill, but trust me, it really, really helps. And you have to do it to a point where it becomes second nature to you. So by now, you're basically itching to know how to create this user persona. So let's find out what are the key elements that you need to use in a user persona, and we'll also figure out how you can get all of this information. And then eventually, we'll be talking about the downloadable template and a sample user personas that you can use as a reference. So, what are the key elements in a user persona? Uh, well, apart from the name, I strongly suggest that you give a name. That goes without saying, which is why I've not included it here. So, apart from a name, what location is the persona from? So, why is this important? So, the location tells you a lot of things. Like if they're from a tier one city, tier two city, or tier three city. If they're from a tier one city, what kind of spending habits do they have? What kind of interest levels do they have compared to a tier two city one? So, I would on an ideal scenario, what would happen is a tier 2 city might have a lot more disposable income than a tier 1 city person because of the simple fact that they might not have enough things to spend on in tier 2 cities. But at the same time, the earning opportunity in a tier 1 city is much, much higher than in a tier 2 city. So location matters a lot. So you need to put in where the location is from and also where the person is residing at. And how old is this person? This gives you a lot of information about the persona, about the person in question. What I mean, this is common sense, right? It completely gives you a clear idea in terms of what level or what stage of life they are in currently, and are they like uh, yet to be married, about to get married? Do they have kids? They already have kids which are quite old, and what kind of job they might be in, what kind of position they might be in. All of this will give you a very clear indication which you might need to create all of these user personas. So which is why I'm going in the order of which you need to have the most. So age is very important, obviously gender, male or female, because the way men react to communication is completely different to women. And this is, I mean, I'm not being any kind of a sexist or whatever. It is the way it is. You know, people react differently to the different things, and you need to understand how this is. You need to, both men and women are emotional creatures, but the kind of emotions men react to and the kind of emotions women react to are completely different. Sometimes they can be the same, but most of the times it can be very different. And what level of education do they have? Now your education level not only is a direct correlation, can be a direct correlation with the kind of income, with the kind of job that they have, and also the kind of field they are in, you know. So what level of education do they have? It also helps to know what kind of schools and colleges did they visit. So it gives you a lot more perspective and depth into your personas. Job title gives you an idea of whether or not they are the decision makers, or the decision that needs to be done needs to go through someone else, especially useful if you have a B2B content or B2B product. Income level, all his or her sources of income, like what kind of an income level that the person is in. Now going back to our older point, depending on the age, depending on the education level, depending on the job title, your income level matters. And it need not have to be the income coming directly from your job, it can be coming from somewhere else also, secondary sources of income, whatever might be the case. Now, your income level gives you a peep into the disposable income. Now, all the income that a person gets, he cannot go out there and spend it because obviously he has expenses. He has to take care of a lot of things that he has to do. So, apart after taking care of all of these things that he cannot go without, the income that is left is the disposable income. And pretty much every brand and every company in the country, probably in the world also, are fighting for this particular disposable income. So are you. Understanding that income gives you an understanding whether or not you should be targeting this persona at all in the first place. Also, relationship, your the current relationship status that the user persona is in, because no prizes for guessing, because the relationship status that they are in completely decide how much disposable income that they have. And especially if they have kids, their disposable income reduces drastically. If they're newly married, or if they're already married for a few years, all of these things give you a clear idea. And of course, the languages spoken, what are the different languages that they can speak, and what are the things that interest them. Now, why is this so important? Because now, if you know what are the interests that they have and the languages that they speak, you can draw a parallel between the interest that they have and the product that you're offering. Say, for example, the person in question is a huge cricket fan. Now, how do you make your product? I'll give you a very good example. So, Swiggy, if you might know, Swiggy is a food delivery app. Which is based out in most of the cities across India. And now, what they have done is, if you see the cricket matches right now, which is happening, what they've shown, just below the score, once the bowler delivers the ball, it says what a delivery. So they're trying to create a connection between cricket and food delivery. A delivery in cricket means when somebody throws the ball, when the bowler actually bowls the ball, it's called a delivery also. So they're trying to connect the interest of a particular person in cricket to the actual product and offering that they have. This can actually do wonders to you, because you are actually piggybacking on something else that they already have established a connection with, and trying to get the same kind of connection to your product and offering too. And what are the favorite websites that they frequently visit? What are the channels that they are on? It might be Facebook, it can be LinkedIn, it can be Quora, it can be news websites, it can be any kind of websites that you can think of. Now, once you know this will give you a clearer understanding of which channels that you should be focusing on to distribute and promote your content in the first place. Uh, Buying motivation, what is the one factor that motivates your users to more make the purchase or consume content? Say, for example, the whole reason why I'm creating this content marketing course, is that there is one factor that motivates a lot of people, is they want to be better digital marketers. And why do they want to be better digital marketers? Probably they want a better job, they want to make more money out of this, all of these things. So this is the biggest buying motivation. That what is that one big buying motivation people have? You can have multiple ones too, nothing against it, but focus on the one major thing that they have. With buying motivation comes buying concerns, the obstacles, all the resistance that is building up in their head, and what are these factors that is concerning them, what is stopping them, that is blocking them from taking this purchase decision. And if you understand these concerns, you can address these concerns using your content and increase the trust between you and your user. And that's the beauty of creating user personas. Now, once I put out all of these things, you kind of get a sense of how important it becomes to create user personas. Am I right? And having said that, this is just pretty much like a basic version of a user persona. You can make it even more basic, or you can make it even more extensive if you want to. The more information you have, the better it is, and the better your understanding of your audience is going to be. So the next question in mind you might be having is, how do you even get started with this, or how to collect all of this information that you need to create all of these user personas? So I would like to start off by saying that it can be fictitious to start off with. You need not actually have the actual information about your target audience and your ideal customers. It can be fictitious to start off with. You can have certain assumptions about your audience and your target audience, and it need not necessarily be 100% accurate. It will not be 100% accurate. It will not be 100% wrong. So you can start off with something fictitious, and if you have existing audience and customers, you can start by profiling them, so that you kind of have some sort of a benchmark in terms of who are the kind of audience you're already targeting, and you can start building on top of it. Also, a very great tool for you to understand about your audience is the Facebook Audience Insights. You can find it in your Ads Manager or just Facebook profile. You can just log into it and find out pretty much about everything about your target audience. What are the kind of pages that they like? What do they do? What kind of devices that they use? What kind of job titles that they have? Pretty much everything. In fact, in one of the recent workshops that we did, I just asked the audience to just go ahead and play around with the Facebook Audience Insights, and they were hooked on for like an hour. It's very addictive, great source of information in terms of audience. Also, Google Analytics audience reports also helps you. Not as extensive as Facebook Audience Insights, but definitely gives you a lot more information in terms of behavior in on your particular website. Keep it dynamic. Don't think that this is a one-off job. You need to keep on going back to this particular thing, and you need to always create as many user personas as possible, and always keep updating your user personas so that it becomes more and more clear to you. Also, build negative personas. Negative personas are the people who you do not want to target as much as possible. So while you have a list of all the people or the kind of people you would want to target, also build negative personas. So that pretty much brings us to the end of this particular video. I really hope you liked it. Let me know what you think about this video. You can either drop in your comments in the comment section, or write an email to me at sanjay@pixeltrack.in. Also, don't forget to check out my blog, www.sanjayshenoy.com. I hope you like this video. I will be seeing you in the next one. Thank you.